Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of The Fad Show. So on today's episode, I got a check engine light for Evap system leak on my 100 series Toyota Land Cruiser. So I'm gonna do some troubleshooting and try and figure out where the problem's coming. If you watch my spark plug video, I noticed that the PCV valve was a little loose in the valve cover gasket, so that's kind of where I'm suspecting. So I bought a new PCV valve and grommet because they're super cheap. It was like $8 for the valve and grommet together. So I got that, and then I'm gonna check that repair I made on the intake plenum to see if that connection broke. All right, so here's the intake plenum, and the repair I made with JB Weld that I was so confident in, you can see has broken off. So that definitely would have caused the leak. And then also, this is actually kind of a clever repair that someone else made in the past. I thought this was factory, but this was just kind of like another vacuum connector that was just forced in here to repair this break or whatever. But I can see the JB Weld is completely plugged up this hole. So the fact that this was broken and this was plugged up could contribute to that check engine light code. So I'm going to drill this out, and then this time I'm going to fix it with super glue. I think it might, I think I just had too much epoxy there, obviously, because it completely filled in this connector. And then I'm going to jam this in kind of like they did when they repaired this originally with some super glue, and I guess hope for the best. I also noticed that this vacuum line is cracking, so I should get a new one, but I don't really feel like running out to the parts store today, so I'll just put that on my list of things to do going forward. So I'm just going to coat the exterior of this in super glue and then jam this in here, hopefully not gluing my hands to it. Alright, and I've roughed this up with sandpaper the best I can. Now I'm just going to paint this outside and super glue. I love how I'm explaining this like I know what I'm doing, and clearly I screwed this up last time. Unfortunately, I feel like the end result of this is going to be ordering a new one of these, which I can only imagine how expensive it is for a piece of plastic. Just stick a straight pick through here so that it doesn't plug up the hole like it did last time. Thank God the whole thing is here. I would have had to take the entire valve cover off. That was dangerous and a freaking miracle. The car gods are with me today. I'm pretty confident I got the whole thing. All right, so I'm just gonna lube the new one up with some engine oil. See, this one fits way more sturdy in there, so I think that might have been part of my problem. All right, so I have the intake plenum box back on now, and I'm going to show you my test setup I'm going to do a vacuum leak test. I have this cheap smoke machine I bought off of eBay. If you look up like industrial automotive smoke machines, they're like $1,000. This was like $20 on eBay for this Autoline Pro, which is just a paint can with a heater in it and some baby oil. And I don't have shop air, so I'm using my tire inflator hooked up to this pressure regulator to this can, and here's where the smoke will come out. I'm gonna hook that up into a glove that I cut the finger out of, and then that's gonna put smoke throughout the system. I ended up taking the rag out of the intake because if I put it in here, I was gonna have to take this off again, and I really just don't think that that connection has too many times coming off and going back on left in its life. So it's together right now, so I don't wanna make it budge again or whatever. So that means I just won't test from here to there as far as the few connections that go on top of the intake, which is fine. Then also, obviously I'm not testing the valve covers either because the PCV check valve is gonna seat. The new PCV check valve is gonna seat, but I should be able to look at all the vacuum lines on the top of the engine, and then I'll try and find the one that runs back to the gas tank to check that too. I'm pretty confident just based on that being plugged that was the cause of my check engine light. Also, that was pretty loose, so I'm guessing that's probably gonna help a little bit as well. But I'm gonna get this thing going now. This is hooked up to the battery. This is hooked up to my tire inflator. So just go ahead and turn the heating element on, turn this on. And then it takes a few minutes before it starts producing smoke. Obviously this is gonna get hot. So I'm seeing smoke, but it's just coming from the connection where it's hooked up. I just taped it to this glove. And now we're gonna look all around. At least my connection I just made up appears to not be smoking. I did that because I wanted to test that it was making its way over here to the Evap canister, which it is, and I don't see anything smoking over here. Here's the line, I believe, going to the gas tank. And it's just a short rubber hose, and then it goes into this hard line. So I'm not really expecting that to leak, but we'll follow it anyways up to where it goes to the evap canister up there. So I think I'm good. So that's a wrap on this episode, guys. You know what they say, there's no work like rework. Kind of unfortunate I didn't fix that correctly the first time. Hopefully that will last going forward. If not, I guess I'm going to be either buying a new OEM intake plenum or going to a junkyard to try and find a used one. But yeah, pretty easy job overall as far as replacing the PCV valve goes. It did kind of remind me of actually my favorite movie when I was removing this grommet. And I feel like even though I was unlucky in the fact that I had to fix that intake plenum again, I was lucky in the fact that this didn't break off and fall down into the valve cover, which would have made my day a lot worse. But one of my favorite movies is Master Commander Far Side of the World. And in that movie, the doctor on the ship at one point gets shot, and his assistant ends up having to do surgery on him, and they remove the bullet, and then they have to match up the shirt that was caught around the bullet to the hole in his shirt to make sure that they got all of it out. So that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Downward pressure. Is that all of it? Aye, sir. She'll patch up nicely.
When I was piecing this grommet back together to make sure it was all there and not sitting in my valve cover where it could plug up an oil gallery and wreck my entire engine. So that was the one good thing today. That PCV definitely wasn't sitting right. It was loose in there. The new grommet definitely helped out. This one, I guess, is just kind of hard and not super rubbery over time. I did actually have history that this was replaced at 232,000 miles, so I guess it didn't really last very long, but that was also 5 years ago. So I actually ordered 2 of them, so I can replace it next time too if I need to. So hope you guys liked this episode. I know there wasn't much to it, but I just wanted to get something out this week. So hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye.